Imagine this. You log into work one morning and the calendar suddenly fills up with all hands meetings. The budget conversations feel tense, and your manager, who used to talk about growth, is suddenly talking about efficiency. Sound familiar? The truth is, most layoffs don't come out of nowhere. There are signs, subtle and not so subtle, that a company is preparing to downsize. In this episode of the Work Chat, we're breaking down 7 signs a layoff might be coming at your company and what you can do now to protect yourself. Because here's the reality. Layoffs aren't always in your control, but how you prepare for them absolutely is. Let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Work Chat. Today we're diving into a tough but important topic, the signs that a layoff might be coming at your workplace and how you can prepare for it. Layoffs are hard, they're emotional, and they're becoming more common across industries, from tech to healthcare to retail. But here's the good news. If you know what to look for, you can spot the warning signs early. That gives you time to update your resume, strengthen your network, and protect your career before the worst happens. Think of this episode as your early warning system. Sign number 1, leadership language shifts. Listen closely to the words executives use. When a company shifts from talking about growth to talking about efficiency, cost-cutting, or restructuring, that's a red flag. If you start hearing phrases like, we're streamlining operations, we're right-sizing, we need to be leaner to compete. Translation? They're preparing people for cuts. Sign number 2, hiring freezes or slowdowns. If your company suddenly stops hiring or quietly cancels job postings, that's often a precursor to layoffs. Why? Because companies usually try to freeze growth first before making the harder decision to reduce staff. If you notice fewer job postings on LinkedIn or hear we're waiting to approve new headcount, pay attention. Sign number 3, budget cuts and canceled projects. When budgets shrink, projects disappear. And when projects disappear, jobs connected to those projects are at risk. For examples, your team's budget for travel, training, or software gets cut. A big initiative suddenly gets paused indefinitely. Your vendors and contractors get let go. This often means leadership is tightening the belt across the board, and permanent cuts may be next. Sign number 4, declining revenue or missed targets. This one's straightforward. If a company isn't making money, something has to give. Watch for quarterly reports with declining revenue, missed sales targets multiple quarters in a row, or declining stock prices or negative press about the company's performance. Even if leadership stays positive publicly, internally they may already be planning cuts to balance the books. Sign number 5, mergers, acquisitions, or new leadership. Change at the top almost always means restructuring below. When companies merge, they look for synergies, and that usually means duplicate roles get eliminated. When a new CEO or department head comes in, they often bring their own team and reorg the structure. If you hear about an acquisition or a new executive, it doesn't always mean layoffs, but it often means change is coming. Sign number 6, morale and transparency drop. Sometimes the clearest signs aren't financial, they're cultural. You might notice that managers avoid questions about the future. Leadership becomes vague or stops holding open Q&A sessions, or even the water cooler chatter feels anxious. When communication gets tight-lipped, it often means leadership knows something they aren't ready to announce. Finally, sign number 7, increased focus on productivity metrics. When leadership suddenly emphasizes productivity, efficiency, or output metrics, it could mean they're identifying low performers for cuts. For example, they might send frequent emails about accountability or ownership, give surprise performance reviews or stack ranking exercises, or put more pressure on documentation and reporting. It doesn't always mean layoffs, but it can signal leadership is deciding who stays and who goes. Okay, so maybe you're nodding along and realizing, yep, I've seen some of these at my company. So what can you do if you notice these signs? Here's the good news. You're not powerless. Here's what to do right now. First, update your resume and LinkedIn. Don't wait until you're out of work. Have your materials ready so you can apply quickly. Second, start networking now. Reach out to old colleagues, mentors, and connections, not to ask for a job right away, but to rekindle relationships. Third, build proof of your value. Document your wins, metrics, and contributions. If layoffs happen, you'll need to stand out. Fourth, create a financial safety net. Start saving if you can. Even a few months of expenses gives you breathing room. Fifth, explore internal opportunities. Sometimes layoffs hit certain departments harder. Look for roles in growing parts of the company. Sixth, stay professional. Don't spread panic or gossip. Focus on doing your job well. You never know who's evaluating performance. Okay, time for a quick recap. Here are the 7 warning signs that layoffs could be on the horizon. 1. Leadership language shifts to efficiency and streamlining. 2. Hiring freezes or job postings vanish. 3. Budgets shrink, projects get canceled. 4. Revenue declines or targets are missed. 5. Mergers, acquisitions, or new executives arrive. 6. Morale drops and transparency fades. 7. Leadership suddenly obsesses over productivity metrics. Spot 1. Pay attention. Spot 3 or more, it's time to prepare. Layoffs are never easy, but remember this: a layoff doesn't define your worth. It's not about your talent or your potential. It's about business decisions that are often out of your control. What is in your control is how prepared you are. Update your materials, grow your network, and protect your career before the news hits. If this episode helped you, hit like and subscribe to the Work Chat for more workplace tips and career strategies. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever spotted the signs of a layoff before it happened? What tipped you off? Share your story in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.